My name is Shekhar Karanje, and a little bit of my academic background. I was born in Bombay, brought up almost every state in India, so I speak about 8 9 languages. And educational qualification, I am an academically qualified engineer, electrical, electronics, and telecom engineer itself. Why I say the word academically qualified? Because as you know, the situation all around India, majority of them today are only academically qualified. Back then, when you and I were young, we were probably having the choice of whether to get into engineering or not. That was not there, so we did not have a choice. Why I'm saying that I'm an academically qualified engineer is because back when we finished our 10th, our marks, if when we were finishing our schools, our marks, whether it is 80, 90, and back then, again, 90 was used to, anything above 95, 96 used to be body temperature. So anything above 80 would be, our household would probably go and distribute sweets all around, or maybe the people around our household would come and share sweets, or, lo bhai mithai lo, that kind of a thing. But 95, 98 would, definitely give you a better career, is what our relatives would say. And of course, and the way we would go about getting into these career, what should I say, academic options, is whether you want to take engineering or medicine, or whether starting from 10th, arts, commerce, science, humanities, what is it that you would like to take? Usually these things would be influenced by our family relatives, distant relatives, maybe all across, halfway across the world. You know what, Shekhar, you're good in maths, you should take up engineering. You're good in biology, you should take up medicine. But nobody knows for sure whether you will be able to sustain there, whether it is meant for you. No, just jump in. That conformist mentality, that herd mentality. But why are we talking about this? Is because when I became an engineer, I did not have clarity as to what I was wanting to do in life. And even after I got into work, I did not join a firm which allowed me to utilize my engineering concepts that I learned. I worked so hard, I studied so hard, merit student all throughout, but I never got the opportunity to apply these concepts in the workplace. So this is how I got into engineering, and I finished my engineering. And after I finished my engineering, I got into something totally different, and that was contact center, where I actually was taking calls, technical troubleshooting calls. But as a part of my engineering, I did a lot of assembly of computers, come down to Bangalore, attend IT.com, bunk my classes in engineering, come along with friends, go to Whitefield. If you remember back then, 2001 is when I graduated. 2001, IT.com would happen in Whitefield. Go attend that, go to SP Road, Bangalore, buy assembled PC parts, set them up, and go back to where I finished my engineering and sell them, do an annual maintenance contract and make some money. So this was what we used to do as friends, as students. Subsequently, that kind of became our past, and we moved on. I got into Dell, finished Dell, learned about computers, learned operations, learned forecasting, contact centers, worked with shared services, worked with financial services, understood the operations. Again, no engineering concepts used anywhere. Moving on from Dell, joined Accenture, understood a whole lot about consulting, technology outsourcing, specifically got into consulting and advisory. This is where I like doing the work. No engineering concepts applied.
Okay, good evening and a warm welcome to all of you. I'm sorry there has been a technical glitch. The presenter had some error in his system, so he's not been able to connect. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, before let Shekhar come back, till then I'll continue with the webinar. My name is Naveen Badrinarayan. I'm presently the director at Deya Career Mentors. I look after the research and product design. I'll take you through this entire webinar of the concept of how to help your child find a future career path. So this is a very interesting topic. Now let me just take you through this small presentation of mine. It will be a small presentation. We have kept you on mute. I'll just take around 20-25 minutes, walk you through this entire presentation. After which we'll open the house for question and answers. We can definitely have question and answers after that. See, we are all parents out here, right? And I think I'm addressing everybody who is a parent out here. So am I a parent, and there is something that beats us. So we are all parents out here, and when we talk of our children today, I have my children studying in 10th and 12th standard. There's one thing that bogs the minds of all parents, that what after this? How do we design? And typically, when we all did our education and we all have gone through this entire system, we all based everything, all our decisions were based on how much marks you scored in a subject, how much you did well in your studies, and what subjects you like. It was always based on that. However, our generation was very different from the present generation. And we took up in our lives, if you ask us, all of us went through the education system as if we had to get into it, and we had to stand up and prove ourselves. Now, today, the situation is very different from what it was in our times. Do you agree? Let me ask you this question. Let me just pose a question to this audience. Why are we educating our children? What are our expectations as parents? Can I see some answers on the chat box? Let's make it a little bit interactive. So I'm going to ask you this question. Yes, you can chat. You can, I have muted the audience purposely. I'll be speaking for 25 minutes and then I'll keep the thing on for you. Can you use your chat box and just tell me, I'm asking a question. We are all putting our children into an education system. What is the expectation of parents here? What do you expect out of this education? Why are we putting them into education? To get good jobs, fantastic. Making them happy, wow, great, Sumit. That's an amazing answer. That's a fantastic answer that you've given, and that's something that Sumit is a mentor with us, so I think he's understanding the concept of Deya very well. But however, when we ask this question to a lot of parents, all of us want our children to do well in life. That's one thing very clear. But when we say do well in life, I think this concept of being happy is very, very critical. Do we all agree out here? I think we must, as parents, there's not a single parent who will say that I don't want my child to be happy, isn't it? Absolutely. We all want our children to be happy, and yes, very rightly brought out, to earn money. Absolutely. So that means there are 2 points which come out here. You want your child to be happy, and you want your child to make a lot of money too. And yes, making them independent, learn survival skills, to make them self-dependent. Fantastic. So I'm getting a lot of answers out here which I totally resonate with as a parent, and I'm sure all of us here will resonate with these answers. But let me ask you a question, when we look at our youngsters today, if you ask, my office is a very young office. We've got about 50 people in the office, and most of the age group is about 26, 27 years old. And when I ask them this question, what do you want to do in life? Where do you look at yourself 10 years from now, 5 years from now? I'm very surprised at the answers that I get from them. They're saying, like, some of them say, I want to be in a good position in my company. I go to engineering colleges and speak to youngsters there. And there you get the answer like, I want to join a good company, I want to get good salary. This is what they talk about. So I asked this question to some engineering college students one day, and I said, tell me, you're all studying engineering. Give me 4 names of great engineers in India whom you would like to emulate. And what was surprising was, they could not even name 4 people in India. And of course, one name that came out after a lot of probing was Sundar Pichai. And I told them, I said, Sundar Pichai is a great guy, but he's still an employee of Google. Not a single guy in our country ever thinks of creating something bigger than Google. Now I'm talking something very, very crazy, Everybody's going to say, what are you talking about? But that's the fact. The fact is, the way we have grown up, we all grew up in hardships. We all understood that it's very difficult to do things outside. We have to struggle. We have to be, and we talk today about survival. We talk about today with the kind of situation that is happening in our country. We're all worried about what's going to happen after COVID is lifted. There's a lot of issues that are happening in the market today. But then, somewhere, when we are talking to a youth today, and let me share some statistics with you. Today, if we are looking at India as a country, we are the youngest working population in the world. We're going to be in the next 10 years. We're going to be the youngest working population in the world. And if this youngest working population in the world is not going to be dreaming big, is not going to be talking some big figures, do you think this country is going to do something great? We missed the bus in the 90s where, though we did well, though we started booming and everything happened, but we missed the bus. We were following the West. Today, there is a brilliant situation in front of us. We are into COVID. We are seeing a lot of opportunities that have come in India, for India. And today, we have been doing this for the last 15 years, of course. But then today, the situation is such that we are realizing that our youngsters, if they are given the right direction, if they are mentored well, if they dream big, there's nothing that can stop them from being number one, India being number one in the world. Can we do that? Now, that's something that we're going to talk about. And that's the concept of mentoring that we are talking about. Now, what has this mentoring got to do with it? The next question. What has this mentoring got to do with it? The mentoring is a process. Who are the mentors? The mentors are people like you and me who have our children as youth today. And these mentors are the people who are the influencers who are going to be driving the seed of positive energy into these young minds to make them dream big, make them think big about their life. Who else other than us can do it? And that's why the mentoring community that has been created in Deya today, which has more than 2,500 people across India, are people who have got a passion, who want to impact the youth. And we all said, let's build together. Now let's understand this whole process. I'm just introducing the topic of mentoring to you and why it's very important for today's youth to have mentors who work with the families to ensure that the right kind of a direction is given to the youth so that they can walk the path with confidence and dream big in their life. Designing dreams in their mind is the main role of a mentor. Now, unfortunately, what happens is, if you look at the entire situation of education today, when we look at parents' faces, especially when the children are in 10th, 11th, 12th standard, there is anxiety writ large on the face of parents. What's going to happen after this? Will they get admission in colleges? Which college is good? What is going to happen? And the kind of investment that is happening into education is huge, unlike what happened in our times. I mean, I'm sure if you calculate how much of money got spent in our engineering or MBA or any kind of work, it was peanuts as compared to what is being spent today. And if I actually calculated, it could run in crores. That's the kind of investment that we are putting into education, and the market is jumping on us. The moment our children reach 8th standard, every coaching class is on you, saying that put them into this foundation program, put them into that coaching class, they have to prepare for this entrance exam. All that is happening. And there's a huge anxiety in the parents' mind regarding investment into education. But tell me one thing, is there any return being guaranteed to anyone? The kind of money that we are putting in is not small, number one. But forget the money, keep the money aside. There is time being invested, there is energy being invested, there are emotions being invested. Today, just hear around what is the talk going on in the societies, what are parents talking about? It's all about education of our children. If you ask a financial plan, I think the first focus of a financial plan of anybody of our age is education of our child, isn't it? Now, when we are investing so much of time, money, energy, emotions into education, and we are expecting something great out of this education, do we really think that is there any return? Anybody guaranteeing a return to us on the investment that we are doing? That's the big concern today for most of us. That's the big concern. Okay, and as we sit here, this is a big concern that we are having. Okay, so that's something that we're going to talk about. Now, the second thing that I'm going to talk about is the world of work. Even before COVID was started changing rapidly. We all know it. Whether it was layoffs happening, whether it is the way the work scenario is changing, everything is it's a VUCA world. We all heard this word VUCA, volatile, uncertain, chaotic, absolutely uncertain world in front of us. Now, are we preparing our children for this VUCA world? Is the education system preparing them for it? Is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we really preparing them for a world where they have to take initiatives, they have to take decisions? Now, most of the kids, by the time they reach 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, they are absolutely clear about what they don't want to do. Ask your children. They will tell you, I'm very clear, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. But you ask them what you want to do, no clarity, complete confusion. On top of it, there is huge academic pressure on top of them. Academic pressure on top of them, they have to perform, they have to study, they keep their homework, they keep their curricular activities aside, they keep their sports aside. All they do is study, 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 study. Why? They have to crack an exam. After the exam, entrance exam. That's how it is going on. Are they happy? Are they enthusiastic? Are they enjoying? Are they really clear about why they are getting into some education? There's no clarity. Now, when there is no clarity, on top of it, parents. Now, if you ask me, I have spent 25 years in the Indian Navy. I came out, I'm a commander. I spent time in the submarine. If you ask me why I did engineering, because I was good in maths, because I was good in science. So parents said, get into engineering. Everybody said that is the right approach. So I got into engineering. Now today, if you ask me, last 5 years, I've been into mentoring. I've been with Dea. I'm enjoying myself. I'm doing what I love to do. It's my passion. I came out of the Navy because my passion was calling me. I want to work with youngsters. I want to work in the education system. I want to drive youngsters to glory. I want to work with parents. I want to put them into the mind that every child can become great in this world. Now, that was a passion which I had, but I did not know how to go about it. The only way to go about it was enter into the education system. You enter into the education system, you start talking curriculum, you start talking same engineering education which I did. I still can solve numericals. I'm very good at solving numericals. I was a topper in my master's degree. But if you ask me where have I used partial differential equations or integration in my entire life of engineering, I don't know where I've used it. And I don't really know why we are studying so much when we are not going to use it in our work. Imagine you're spending 18 years of your life studying something and then spend the next 50 years of your life working, and whatever you're studying you're not using in your work. Now, somewhere we have to look back and question the education system. We cannot just accept it. How long can we accept this kind of a nonsense? That I keep studying something and I keep doing something which is completely different from what I've studied. Now, this is where, we have to play a role of getting a clarity. If I want to become somebody in this life, let me do everything, education, skill development, personality development towards that clear goal of mine. I don't need to be doing other things and then doing something else in my life. That lack of clarity makes a person mediocre in life. Isn't that what happened, with most of us? Because we all got into education just because we were good in a subject. We were not told that you want to become somebody great in life. Today, if somebody has a young child has a goal, I want to become this, and we are able to put the dream into the child's mind, and then we get a clarity, and then we make a path which is connected to that goal. How different life is going to be. How beautiful life would be actually for that child. Because one, the child is going to be happy doing what he's doing, and if I'm happy doing what I'm doing, my passion will speak for itself. I will be excellent at what I do. If I'm excellent at what I do, I will get money. Value will come in. Any field, any career will be good provided I'm passionate and I'm enthusiastic about it. That's the point which I wanted to make, because clarity is very, very important. And when there is lack of clarity, and not only for the child, parents, if I'm an engineer, I'm aware about engineering. Am I aware about everything in the world? I may not be aware. Am I aware about all the options that are available? So obviously you need a system, you need a platform to make you aware what is happening in this world of work, what is going to happen in the next 10 years. Unless we are clear about next 10 years, 20 years of work life, how are we going to take a direction? You can't be telling a 9th standard student today to do something where that field is going to die down after 10 years. So we got to be very, very clear as to what is the direction that you're going to take, which is a strategic direction, which is connected to the future. And for that, you need intelligent people, you need people who have worked in the world of work, who are connected with the world of work to become the mentors, so that they can work with families and they can create this impact when every child starts talking big and creating a good goal for himself or herself. That's the second point that I wanted to make. Now, when we did this research and we found out, what is happening, because we didn't just go by thinking that, okay, this is a problem. We actually found out that there was a problem. We went and did a research with more than 100 schools, and we went and gave them a form. Tell me something. Do you really know what you want to become in life? We got about 33,000 responses of that. And in these 33,000 responses, it was shocking to us, 78% of the kids from 8th standard to 12th standard had ticked the box and undecided. I don't know what I want to do. 22% had said, I'm clear what I want to do, and that's what you see in the slide. Engineering, the maximum, which is in red. Okay, then it was doctor. Now, engineering and doctor are keywords. Do these kids know what an engineer does at work? How many of us have taken our children to our office and shown them how work happens? No reality check, no understanding about work life. You're going to work in that life from 23 years till the time you retire, and retirement age, gentlemen and ladies, is going to go up. People are going to work till the age of 70 because lifespans have gone up. There is no pension for us. So we got to work for a long time. Now what happens is they listen to something, they see their parents, they understand a little bit about whatever information is floating into them, and they go into that. And they don't understand whether they really going to like it, whether they're going to be happy, no understanding. Second thing what happens is parents have their expectations. So parents drive the expectations onto the children and saying that, okay, I did not do this, I want my child to do this. So somewhere the child also reads the mind of the father and mother and says, okay, my father wants me to do this, so I will do that. Now what happens is somewhere we said we want them to be happy. Do you really think they're going to be happy if they do what you want them to do rather than what they themselves want to do? It's a problem. Now we don't understand it because we are parents. And remember, there's a Hindi saying, "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar." So you may think that you know your child very well. There are subtle things which you may miss out because though you know your child very well, but you take a lot of things for granted. Both cases. The child also takes, the father, mother also take. So therefore, in the olden days, there used to be a Gurukul concept. After a certain age, the child used to be kept out of home and sent to a Gurukul, where a guru used to understand it very well and direct the child to do what. We are getting back to the same concept here. Every family needs a guru. For my son will not listen to me, he will listen to you. Your son will listen to me, provided we have that sanity and maturity and that ability to influence the child. Now that's the concept of mentoring that we are talking about. So that, we are able to give the direction. What is shown in the slide here is exactly what I've been talking about. 18 years, we call it an 1840 dilemma. 18 years of education, right from the age of 5 years to the age of 23 years, and then 40 years of work life. Now I'm saying 40 is going to be greater than 40 because you start working at 23, you got to work till maybe 65, 70, I don't know more than that. So you have dilemma in your mind. Should I only focus on these 18 years? Because parents are only talking about educating. In India, unfortunately, career is equal to education. So everybody talks about education moment you talk about career. Forgetting that career starts after education and it's a long period. And if the child has a clear goal in the mind, then that career is well planned. Otherwise, it is not like our times. We had only 4 options. These kids are spoiled for choices. They have an information overload, but they are not capable of making a decision. because they're confused. They need a clarity. They need a sane mind to decide what they want to do. Otherwise, if you look at the youngsters today, 23 to 30, the red thing that is shown on the slide, they are dancing in life. We call it a dance of life. Have you seen their resumes? Every year they're changing jobs. They say it's the norm. We can't continue in a company for long. Just imagine this peak of youth when you're full of energy, when you're supposed to work hard and create something great. You're dancing around. Every 6 months, 8 months, you're changing jobs. Do you think you can do anything great with this? That's a big problem that we are facing. And that is why, if these kids, by the time they reach 28 to 30 years, they come under social pressure, they get married, settle down in a new life, and then they start growing. So the growth starts late. But by the time they hit 40, you know what's happening in the market. Anybody who is in the age of 40 plus and working in a job has a Damocles sword hanging on top of the head. When will I be told to quit? There's a problem. Because the growth started late, you have reached only a mediocre position. You are not in an indispensable position in the company. You have not created a niche for yourself. Now that's an issue that we need to look at. And today, when we are handling mid-career professionals, there are a lot of cases that come to us at the age of 50, at the age of 55. What do I do? Because I have to work for next 20, 30 years. That's the problem that's happening in the country today. So if you look at our entire country, we have one group of people, 13 to 24, who are students who need our mentoring. There's another group between 25 to 30 who are again early career professionals who are completely dancing around. They're not at all clear what they want. Then there's a third group which is 30 plus. Now the mid-career has come to 30s. Earlier the mid-career used to be 40. Today at the age of 31, 32 people are hitting mid-career. That's what is happening. Now if you look at these three targets of populations, all of them seem to be in confusion state. Now, is this a country, the largest young working population? If this is the state, how do you expect this country to grow? How do you expect this country to be productive? How do we expect this country to be proactive? Now, it's not a nice thing. Ladies and gentlemen, career mentoring and planning is not a nice thing. It is a necessity of the hour. If we don't do it, we are going to be in disaster. We are looking at a time bomb waiting to burst on our face. Just imagine young people, 25 to 30-year-old, sitting at home, preparing for exams or not working. After 4 years of preparation of UPSC exam, doesn't get through. Where do they go? Who is going to employ them? Only 1% gets through, 99% don't get through. Who is going to employ them? And if we have a large chunk of people in our country who are not employable, what happens? Please understand, it's a very, very serious issue. Me and Anand and Shekhar, we have all been discussing this and we brainstorm on it and we are worried and scared. And we said we have to do something about it. The only way to do it is start early. Put a plan into the place. Put a dream into their mind. Give them, channelize their energy. Make them work hard. Let them fall down. Let them face obstacles. Let them learn early in life how to stand up on their own legs. Job approach is not going to work. Jobs are not there. And you know what is happening in COVID situation now. Post-COVID, we don't know whether the jobs are going to be there or whether the nature of jobs is completely going to change. Because even a company like TCS is talking about working from home. And people could be working from home the way we are working right now. Every one of us have learned because of this how to use digital technology to its optimum sense without spending much of money and earning for ourselves. Now that is something that we have to teach our youth. How to stand up on your own legs and earn your money. You cannot be dependent on an external degree and an external job and sustain yourself in life. Maybe those days are gone. You will have to create a demand for your work in the world of work. To create a demand, you have to be skilled. You have to be reputed. People have to know you. And that has to start early in life. That's the purpose of career mentoring. And it has to start early. Now, what's the right age to start? I think 13 years, what we have seen, is the right age to start mentoring. At the age of 13, once the child has got into a teenage, instead of getting distracted, if there is a focus, yes, this is exactly my dream. I want to create something big in this world. I want to do this. And we all help the child as a parent and a mentor. We all couple together and say, let us work with this child, create a dream in this child's mind and walk the path along with him. It is not a one-time session. It is a process. Once we get attached to a family, a mentor gets attached to a family, this family becomes part of our community. We look after the family. It's a very committed, passionate kind of work that we are all doing. Every mentor says, I'm going to work with this mentee, I'm going to work with this family, I'm going to put this dream and keep on driving this dream into the child's mind. Life changes after that. This kid is like super excited. What happens is most of the times in schools, Nobody is asking the child, or telling the child that you are damn good at this. How many times our child is supposed very good at sports? How many times have you looked into your child's eyes and told him, you know what, I can see you winning an Olympic gold medal? Come on, none of us are doing it because we ourselves have a doubt in our mind, is it possible? That practicality of it kills the thought process in a child's mind. Now, I jokingly say, you have a Lamborghini at home and you prefer to drive it like a Premier Padmini. Come on, every kid is capable of doing the best. Can we give them that confidence? If they start early and they set a big dream, it is possible for them to do the best. It is possible for them to become number one. That's the dream that we are working on, right? Now, if we look at it, if we do not do this, what would happen? See, children will do well. They will study, they will get into some college, they will clear some entrance exam, they will do some studies, they will get into a job, they will earn some money. But will their life be exciting? Will they be doing something great? Doubtful. Question mark. Because if your careers are not planned, there is a high probability they are going to get into mediocre lifestyles. They will go to office and come back. They will earn some money for themselves. But they're not going to do something great. Now, when we talk about mentoring, our mentoring is uniqueness is that it has to drive home the point that you are the best in whatever you desire to be. You become the best in it. Focus to build a large goal for yourself. Build yourself into somebody that you feel worthy of. When you look at the mirror, you feel proud of yourself. Create a destination in your mind. That destination is very important in the mind. The identity that you create in your mind is a motivator. If that motivator is not there, you can keep studying, you can keep going into jobs. It's not going to give you that energy to work. Today, there is an energy which comes out for all of us to work because we are dreaming of a very large thing. We have put a scalable cause into our mind saying that I want to transform India. We all together are going to transform India. We're going to make a young India, a very powerful India, a very productive India. Now, that's a very large dream. I do not know whether this is practical, this is achievable, I do not know. But yes, it's a dream. And when this dream is full of passion, full of enthusiasm, we put in our energy into our work and we work on it. Even if 1% of our target population makes it to the top, we have done our job. Because these guys will change the landscape of India. Believe me, it is going to happen. And that's exactly what we are working on. Okay? So that's the entire process. Now, the main point that I wanted to bring out, every child has got unique talents. Every child. There's not a single person in this whole audience or in this country or in this world who doesn't have unique talents. Can we identify those unique talents? Can we find out their strengths? Can we list them down? Can we boost it into them so that they start feeling good about themselves? Because that's the most important part which will make them believe that they can achieve something great. Now, unfortunately, just because a child does not get good marks, they are told you're not capable. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, please look into your own classrooms. Look at the people who didn't get good marks in your class. Ask yourself where they are today. We are all at the age of 40s and 50s and above. And if you look at 40s and 50s and above, you go back to your classrooms, talk about your classmates, see the guys who did not score marks, see where they are today. I don't have to explain it to you. Your question will get answered on its own. Most of them, at least my classmates, most of them are independent businessmen, running their own businesses, living their own life and style. Okay, the good students are also doing well. There's not much of a difference whether you are a good student or bad student. The point I'm trying to make is everybody is capable of achieving great things in life. Marks alone don't decide everything. I'm not saying for one moment that marks are not important. Marks are important. But believe me, if we drive home to a child that you're capable, you've got amazing capability, academic performance also improves. We have proved it. Academic performance definitely improves if the child gets confident. Unfortunately, coaching classes reduces confidence because they are sitting in a bulk and there's a bulk session going on and you're competing and you're comparing. It is not going to give you the confidence. You require a one-on-one personalized mentor to work with you to drive home the point that you've got a bundle of strengths inside you. Use this strength to do something great in life. Now, sometimes as parents, though we see the child and we know everything, but we don't see it as strengths. A child may be restless. Now you look at it, he can't sit in one place, he's always moving around here and there. Restless is also a strength. If you look at it, the child is sharp, the child is quick, the child thinks in a very fast manner. He is action oriented, he is speed oriented. Every single point that the child has can be converted into a strength provided we learn how to look at it. And that's something that we as mentors are very good at. We're trained on it. It's called positive appreciative inquiry is a tool that we use to work with the youngsters, work with the parents to make them understand that These are the strengths that this person possesses, and using the strengths, connect it up to the world of work. Now again, world of work has to have a research, has to have data points, has to have information. Unless you have the data, information point and research, you cannot just talk off the cuff. So you have a detailed research that is available. There's a 22,000 occupations have been researched upon, and it's been connected up to the strengths of the child. Now, unless you do this kind of connecting the dots, it's very difficult for a child to also set a destination. And then you have to work with the child. You have to work with the youth to make them understand how their strengths can get connected to the world of work. What is it that they can think of? What is the thing that they can create? What kind of a work they can do? Now, that's something that we work with very strongly with them. So we say that mass lectures, career counseling, aptitude tests, they are not the solution to this problem. The solution is very simple. There has to be a one-on-one, personalized, unique session for every single child. Now that's a very big call in a 135 crore population, but we are doing it. How are we doing it? We are creating a community of mentors, and this community is growing. Every mentor works with every family, and this family, the positive parenting community gets together, the mentor community gets together, we work together, and we drive home the point that dream big, invest into your education correctly, properly, in the right direction, according to what you would like to create in the world, and not based on what the herd tells you. That's something that we do. Okay, so that's the whole idea about doing career mentoring, and let them design a beautiful career for themselves in the future, right? So that's the whole idea. So every education has to have an outcome into work. Okay, number one. So it's very important to understand that education is good. You have to give them the best education, but that education should be related to the destination that they have decided in their mind. It cannot be just education, and they have to start early. It has to be done as early as possible. 13 years, 14 years, as soon as the child hits the 13 years, start planning so that you get enough headway to prepare. Nothing stopping the child from earning when he is 15, 16 years of age. My child started earning when he was 15, 16. We started the career planning earlier. There's nothing wrong. Let them learn how to make money. It's good for them. Let them be passionate about what they're doing. That passion speaks for itself. The money comes in. Your question of happiness and value is settled. Okay? And then you are a master of something. Imagine 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, if the kid is continuously doing certification programs, doing workshops, earning money, building a reputation, by the time he hits 12th standard, don't you think this child will be leagues ahead of other children who are just planning to get into a college? That's the point of mentoring. Mentoring is very important for development at an early age. Okay, so that's how we do it. So their Career Mentors is a 15-year-old organization which has been doing this for the last 15 years. It was a dream of the founder of this company, who started it off after a 16-year corporate tenure, saying that let people not suffer the way I suffered. Let them do what they love to do, and let's build India. And that's how this concept started off. Though we were too early, we started way back in 2006. That time nobody was ready to accept this. Today, I'm very happy to say that a lot of our people have joined up. Everybody understands this whole concept, and people are ready to invest into career guidance, career planning, so that these children actually dream big, actually live happy lives, and they produce amazing outputs, which creates a very productive nation. And that's something that I would be saying that every one of us here is very passionate about this cause, and that's the whole idea of mentoring and letting the children find their future career path. Yeah, so now let me do one thing. I will open the house for question and answers. So I already have the question and answers out here. Right, if there are any questions you would like to ask, let me see. There have been some polls that have been come here. Okay, I'm going to be opening a poll. So the first, how do you normally decide a career option for your child? Okay, so 50% have said that based on interests of the child. Okay, 34% say that based on subject marks and based on interests, and 16% said based on what is the market scenario for growth. This is the poll for this question. Then I have, is your child clear about what they want to be in your life or work? 53% say unsure, 24% say no, and 23% have said yes. So very similar to the statistics that I showed you. So about 77% people are saying that either unsure or no, and only 23% are saying yes. Now let me go back to the poll. First question which we asked. Okay, you talked about interest. Now let me ask you, okay, what do you think this interest means? If a child comes and tells you I'm interested in playing soccer, is that interest? Would you consider it interest and say, okay, continue your life in soccer and look after that? What do you think? Interest is a very interesting word, okay? But then you have to understand that you have to be very careful about this word called interest, because children may just come and say, I'm interested in something. Absolutely, Durga, you have very rightly said. At the age of 13, children keep changing. Every day. Today I like hockey. 1 month later I like football. 1 month later I like swimming. And it will be a dangerous thing if you say that based on interest I create a career for 50 years of life. Unless we find out what is the true interest and what is the true interest. We have a method of finding out. We say that there are something called activity based interest. Does this person actually work in that field? If the child is really interested in soccer, must be playing football, must have participated in competitions, must have won trophies, must be really playing every day 1 hour, 2 hours. Is that the truth? Or is it just a wishful thinking? Now, if that person has been doing it for a considerable amount of time, has got a real passion in that field. When you say passion, 24 hours you can work in it and you don't see the time. That is passion. Now, is that kid like that? That is something that we need to understand very clearly, okay? If we understand that, we have got the interest right. But alone interest, you should not look at it. You have to look at many things. Now, I'll give you some tips. There are two things which are very important for career. One is the happiness, like you brought out. Now, when a child is happy, for example, you have a restless child at home, can't sit in one place. If you put this child into research and say is very intelligent, does well in maths and science, and just sit down at one place and keep doing data analysis and research and all that, do you think this kid will ever be happy in life? Because the personality is something that is God given. You cannot change a personality. Please don't try it also. Bhagavad Gita tells it to us. Swabhava is something which is constant. It has to be connected to the Swadharma. Never try to change the nature of any child. Every child has got a unique nature. Identifying that nature is very important. So if a child is restless, that restlessness can be converted into great strengths. Mind is sharp, it is multitasker, it can do multiple things, change oriented, variable, can do dynamic work, can be working in multiple things, very practical, hands on, can get into stuff. So put them into those areas. So you have to understand every child. Now it's just not about interest, it's about understanding the child's nature, number one. Number two, the abilities of the child. And number three is the interest. All these things coupled together. So happiness comes from that nature. Remember that. If the nature is not matching, child will never be happy. Now, understanding the nature of any child is very critical and crucial. It is a basic hygiene factor. If you breach the hygiene factor, do what you may. The child may do well, they may earn money, they will not be happy. So hygiene factor is very important. Second is the abilities. Abilities can be built. Abilities can be built by practice. But there are certain natural abilities in people like imagination, visualization, which can be identified. If they are there, we can hone them and we can make them the best in that. Okay, and there are some interests. So if you take the interest and combine it with all this, mix it up, and then you're able to give a direction. That is exactly what we do in career guidance and planning, and that's very accurate. It has to be very accurate, has to be done properly, and it doesn't happen over there is no magic wand. It happens in a session which takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. We have to talk, converse, probe, find out, understand the family, sit with them. There are 13 factors which have to be considered. Career guidance is not so simple that just do some test and you tell this can be done or that can be done. It has to be done as a process, understanding the emotions, working one-on-one, building the energy into them, giving them the right direction with a lot of research, data and information, and then continuing to walk the path along with them. That's the entire process. Yeah, so Raghav asked a question, interest, liking, difference, how to guide for career. You're right. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. The first thing is where your child will be happy is very important. Now, where he'll be happy depends on the nature of the child. Some children are knowledge oriented. They like to sit down in one place and do research. Some children are restless. They're very practical, very good at doing things in their hands. Some children are aggressive and blunt and they just don't like to sit at all. Some children are very talkative and communicative. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. If we are able to identify that nature, that's the first step. Then comes the next part, the abilities and the interests, and then work together. And then comes the research, connecting the dots. All this put together, build a dream. If the dream gets clicked onto the child's mind, the child is motivated. If the child is motivated, our job reduces. As a parent, you will not have any worry. Yes, we have our own psychometric assessments, we have our own tools. All this has been made in-house in Deya. So Deya boasts today of a system which is completely developed in-house by us, validated to Indian norms, run with more than 3 lakh people across the country. And today we are very powerful and strong in doing this kind of work. Psychometrics is just 5% of the work. 95% of the work starts after it. when mentors have to sit across with the family, work with them, drive energy into the child, drive energy into the parent, make them relax, make them feel what they can do in life with a lot of research and data. That's the work that is very critical. Because then the child gets excited, they will do things. Children are very good. They don't need too much of hand holding, except that the initial part is important where they get triggered on to do something in life. That is the critical point. Once the trigger is on, the child starts working on their own. That's what we have seen. It's an amazing experience, right? So I'm sure, you all have your own experiences with your children. I'm sure you have a lot of stories, but I'll tell you something. When you handle teenagers, you have to have a little bit of understanding of that teenager very well. Every child is different. I've got 2 teenagers at home, so I can tell you that. Both are North Pole and South Pole. How you deal with them, you have to accept them. Learn to accept them the way they are. Never try to tell them to do this or do that or try to change themselves. That's the worst thing that any parent can do. Now, unfortunately, the schooling system and the parents, we keep telling them discipline and do this and do that. That we need to curtail a little bit. So understand this. When you come for career planning with us, we're going to work with you. We're going to ensure that you understand this whole thing in entirety, and we're going to be working as partners. Parents become our partners to drive this child, because we are dreaming of these kids becoming someone great, and we are going to be partners in making that kid like that. That's the work. So please do that. That trigger button, Raghav, is they are career mentors. Do come to us, and you will see the trigger happening. You will see this kid flying like a rocket, like a missile. Absolutely no problem. You come at whatever age. It's never too late. We start at the age of 13, but we have got people coming at 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 25, 30, 45, 50, at all ages. The concept is the same. Know your strengths, connect to what you want to be, build a path, walk the path, develop yourself in that path, right? So that's how you have to work with them. So, it's like every work also has to be divided. What is the type of work? What is the field of work? How are you going to earn money? What is the purpose for you to do what you're doing? It's a bit technical, but then of course, that's the whole mentoring process. So when our mentors get trained, they get trained for about 90 hours. It's a bit of a exhaustive training that happens where they get to understand a lot about personality, psychometrics, also about, the world of work, how to connect the dots, how to slice and dice the world of work, what is going to happen in the future, what are the different predictions, what is the data science talking about, why this is going to happen, how the entire automation is going to change the industry. A lot of connectivity happens. So our mentors are super qualified and they're certified to do this work. So it requires that kind of energy and time to understand a career choice. You cannot just do it based on wishful thinking, saying that, okay, I like maths, I like science, so I should become a scientist or I should become that. It doesn't work that way. It has to happen with a lot of structure and a system and a process, with a third party who sits across, and as a partner we work with this kid and allow this kid to connect. That connectivity is very important. And kids connect like crazy with our mentors. So mentors become best friends of the kids, because we only talk good things about them. So they get charged up. And once they get charged up, things happen. Okay, so you can visit our website, which is www.deya.com. There are different services that we are offering. We have a career guidance process and a career planning process. You can either take the career planning and be lifelong with us, or you can come for career guidance and then upgrade to career planning. So the career guidance process is called Deya Compass, which costs 15,000 rupees, and Deya Navigator is the entire life mentoring process, which costs 30,000 rupees. So that's the present charges that are happening. So you can visit our website, all the details are there, and I have my team which is working here, so they will be connecting to you. You can, your email IDs and your numbers are there, so we'll connect with you, and you can register your children for the process as soon as possible, because our mentors are all across India. So you will get the choice of your mentor, that's not a problem, and they're all super qualified. They're all using the research system and the methods and the tools that we provide to them on a common platter. So everybody is qualified to do this work. Not at all, Sakshi, don't worry about it. See, the point is that people get into engineering or MBA, but does not mean that they have decided their career. Okay, we have been dealing with MBA students from IBM, we have been dealing with engineering students from IITs and from BITS Pilani. And I have heard an IIT metallurgical engineer telling me, I want to do anything other than technical work. And I've got a civil engineer from IIT Powai telling me that, I will get into finance. Then I asked them, you're a cream de la cream of India, got into IIT Powai, and you're doing civil engineering and you want to get into finance. Now, the problem is that just because they're doing engineering doesn't mean that career is decided. So it does not matter. See, don't go into this sunk cost fallacy that because I've invested into engineering, my rest of the life I have to do engineering. Now, my example, I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm doing this work, and I'm damn passionate about what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm enjoying my life, and that's more important. Am I enjoying what I'm doing? Am I making money out of it? That's all matters at the end of it. The two things are very important. I should enjoy and I should make money. And these two things are to be catered for. If we do that, rest assured the life is taken care of. What has happened in the past has happened in the past. You have got into engineering, it's fine. You got into some graduation, it's fine. But now on, take a decision. Yes, if we can leverage on this, nothing like it. If not, then also no problems. We can always find a path. Not an issue. Korti's question is HR department having scope in the coming future. I'm sorry to say, if you look at HR in the present situation, I think it's one of the most redundant spaces to be in because I'm not nothing against HR, okay, frankly, because Anand, the founder of this company, is from HR only, and I don't know if he'll take it nicely if I say that, but then the fact remains that it's something that can be done through outsourcing, can be done through offshoring. There are a lot of people, a lot of agencies doing it. A lot of work can be outsourced. So you really don't need too many people, and then things can be automated also. So I know HR is a very generic word. Within HR, you have comp and ben, you have recruitment, you have employee engagement, customer relationship. There's so many issues within the HR. Now, depending on what role you're taking up, whichever role involves people to people connect is bound to stay. For example, customer relationship and employee engagement will never go. They will always be there. But you're looking at comp and ben, that may not be required. The computer will do the work. If you're talking about recruitment, yes, recruitment will always be there. Yes, but then it could be, lesser number of people would be required there probably. That's the thing of HR, what you're talking about. Prashant Bilagi asked me future in business management. See, I'll tell you something. I've been answering, I'm quite an avid answerer on Quora to all these questions, okay? And I keep telling people, MBA is just a degree. MBA does not teach you business, number one. Yes, it teaches you administration, it teaches you how to use some jargon. That's about it. Okay, I myself have done my MBA also. So it doesn't really matter. The MBA degree is giving you a stamp, that's all. Don't give it more importance than that. What is more important is, what work are you going to do? Now, business management. Business management, what do you mean by it? Okay, there are different roles in business that you do. Now, you have to identify. When we talk about work, we talk about the role that you're going to perform in the company. What is the role? Are you going to be the CEO of the company looking at the bottom lines? Are you going to be the person who's going to be the administrator who's going to look after all the administration issues? What is the work that you're going to do occupying yourself? That is important to understand. Once you understand that, you can create your identity there and you can do whatever skills you need to become the best in that field. Understand, and there are certain roles which will die down because of automation. So if you're talking about business management, I don't understand that word very clearly because it is again broken into many roles that you're going to perform. There are people who are facility managers, there are people who are administrative managers, there are people who are general managers, there are people who are CEOs. Now what is exactly that you're looking at? Let's understand that. And everybody's role is very clearly defined. What tasks are you going to manage? What is the demand of the task? What is the skill required for it? If you understand that, you will take the right direction. Yes, Sumit Kamath says views of career in mass media. Amazing careers in mass media. Mass media is a very disorganized field, but it is an amazing field to be in. You're going to get a lot of, but then again, depending on the person, what you want to do in it. Mass media is a very large field. There are a lot of areas in it. You can be a creative person, you can be an analytical person, you can be a planning person, you can be a journalist in that. You can do so many roles depending on what you want to do, right? Can you share insights between engineering versus research orientation a bit more? I'll tell you something, people are running behind engineering a lot. But, I would say that if a child is academically oriented, doing research in fundamental sciences is much more lucrative than being just an engineer, even from an IIT. And today the government is sponsoring so much of scientific research. So I don't know why there is a mad rush behind getting into some good engineering college. Because engineering is of no value today, especially the Indian engineering degrees, which is purely theoretical. Research in a fundamental science or in any sciences, life sciences, physical sciences, earth sciences, material sciences, research is going to be hugely in demand. Any fundamental research is there to stay for the future. So I think what we'll do is, all these questions are regarding the careers and options. We're going to be having a lot of webinars on that. A lot of our mentors are going to be conducting a lot of webinars on every single career aspect. The entire month of May and June, every single day there are going to be webinars which are going to be conducted on every single career. We are also going to be having panel discussions with parents, and there are going to be senior psychologists from our mentor community and senior professionals who are going to be the panelists, who are going to be talking about how parents should deal with teenagers. It's happening on the 6th of May. So I invite you all to please register for this. Please come into webinars, and I'm sure all your questions would get answered at that point in time. I don't think it's practically possible for me to answer all career related questions right now here, but yes, one thing I'm very certain about is you must have a unique career plan for every child. And for that, the first thing you need to do is understand your child's strengths very well. For that, you need some tools and processes. So psychometric tool is probably required for it, to understand your child very well and to at least, you know it, but then getting a stamp on it and knowing, okay, this is exactly what I know, but then this is the positive of it. And then connecting it to work is very important. So that career guidance and planning gives that clarity of focus. That's very critical. Why not? And this webinar is, I think, is it being recorded? Yeah, it is being recorded. So we will be putting this up on the YouTube in our videos. So you can always share it with your children and they can watch it. They are most welcome to attend this webinar, not a problem at all. Definitely, Mr. Ritvik, you must forward this link to our colleagues. Let them also know about it. Please tell everyone that there is an organization called DEA, which is crazy and passionate and trying to build India to become #1 in the world. Please do that. We'll be most happy to, have more people joining up and, for becoming a parenting community or joining to become mentors with us. In both cases, you are most welcome. Of course, we are selecting our mentors with a lot of scrutiny because only the best of the best come as mentors to us. So we select them. But every one of you must get your child's career planning done. That's my strong recommendation to all of you. Please immediately register your child, whatever age, 13 years, 15 years, 20 years, 22 years, doesn't matter. Get a career plan done. They have to work for the next 50 years of their life. Let them be clear about what they have to do. Get your career planning done. It's worth it is what I will tell you. This investment is going to be worth for life because they get the clarity and they will live a happy and a valuable life. They will remember you for that. They will thank you for their life for that. Why not, Lipika Chatterjee? Why not? Girls must select a defense career. Defense is opened out to girls now. Why not? They must. If the girl is physical and wants to do something in the defense, it's a brilliant career to get into. Today, whatever I am, it is thanks to the Indian Navy. I salute the Indian Navy. I had a glorious career there. I really enjoyed my time in the Indian Navy. Whatever I am today, it is completely indebted to the Indian Navy. I thank the Indian Navy for whatever it gave me. Absolutely, Sudesh, I'll answer this question of yours. We have a lot of alumni with us, and our alumni keep coming back to us. In fact, we do a lot of sessions for our customers with our alumni. So our alumni who have been in 2009 with us, today they're entrepreneurs running their own businesses. They come and speak to our parents and to our students and tell them what happened in their lives. We have many of them, thousands of them today, okay, who keep coming and keep talking about it. If you look at our website also, you'll find a lot of videos there. Pallavi, yes, there is a huge scope for research in humanities stream. My son himself is into humanities research. So he is doing research on history. So there's a lot of scope, political research, historical research, anthropological research, you name it. The subjects are amazing. Political economics is there. There are so many areas where research is required to be done. Veterinary medicine, yes, I would say it is there. But we have to be very clear why a person is joining that, because I have heard a lot of kids saying that I love animals, so I want to get into veterinary. Please don't let them join veterinary if they love animals, because veterinary science may not give them that feel of loving animals. At least there are a lot of things happen in veterinary which reality checks are very important. So please do visit our website. Do see our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page of their communities. We have a LinkedIn page of their communities. We have our Instagram. Please do go there, visit us, like us there, and leave your comments in this place. So our team will definitely get in touch with you. And do not forget, register your children for career planning as soon as possible. With that, I think I'll complete this session. And thank you so much for being a patient audience. And sorry for the initial glitch which happened in the technology system. And hope to see you all soon, sometime in life. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Good night. We will note down all your questions and we'll probably give you an answer in an FAQ sheet. Okay. So I've noted down all your questions. It will not be practically possible for me to answer all the questions here. So I will note down all these questions and we will be in touch with you and hopefully answer all of them in our FAQ section. Thank you. Good night. Jai Hind. Thank you so much for having spared your time for this webinar.